The galaxy had always underestimated humanity, viewing Earth as a backwater planet, a minor player with a species clumsy and weak compared to the grand civilization spanning the stars. Yet within the human race there simmered a quiet determination that no alien council could perceive or understand, a combination of resilience, adaptability, and ingenuity that had been honed to millennia of survival against nature itself and against one another, a brutal education that the galaxy had never experienced and could never predict. When the first alien emissaries arrived to establish control over human space, they expected to encounter a compliant species, one they could bend to treaties and trade agreements that favored alien interests, yet what they found was a species cautious but intelligent, capable of calculating risks with precision and responding to threats in ways that often surprised even their own leaders. The humans welcomed the envoys with a veneer of civility, smiles, and handshakes masking minds already assessing weaknesses in alien psychology, technology, and strategy. Their diplomats and scientists worked quietly, collecting data, understanding alien communications, decoding patterns of command and supply, while the fleets orbiting above human worlds remained under strict orders to observe rather than engage. Humans watched and waited, knowing that any misstep could provoke the galaxy's superior forces. Yet in the shadows, engineers, military strategists, and scientists collaborated in ways that no alien could anticipate, combining conventional technology with experimental designs, harnessing resources with efficiency that alien empires dismissed as primitive. Meanwhile, the alien commanders underestimated the humans at every turn, believing arrogance and raw power would suffice to cow them. But humans had long learned that strength was meaningless without strategy, that survival demanded adaptation, and that unpredictability could be weaponized as effectively as the most advanced energy cannon. Tension grew as small skirmishes erupted on remote colonies, each one a test of human response. Aliens were stunned by the humans' coordination, their improvisation under fire, and their capacity to turn desperation into tactical advantage. Even as human fleets were smaller, slower, and seemingly outgunned, they exploited terrain, physics, and enemy assumptions in ways that shattered alien confidence. Within months, the aliens realized that Earth had quietly built an infrastructure capable of supporting both defense and retaliation on scales previously unimagined. Humans had mastered energy manipulation, robotics, artificial intelligence integration, and orbital warfare in ways that allowed them to punch far above their weight. When the first true battle erupted in the outskirts of the Orion expanse, alien admirals thought victory would be swift. Yet human pilots coordinated strikes with mathematical precision, their fleets moving as one organism, drones and manned ships complementing each other in symphonies of destruction. Planets that had been considered easy targets became death traps for the alien forces. Humans revealed weapons that combined stealth, speed, and devastating firepower. Alien fleets suffered losses that escalated from embarrassing to catastrophic. In command centers across the galaxy, disbelief turned to fear. Alien leaders could not comprehend how a species so underestimated could act with such cohesion, ingenuity, and ruthlessness. Humanity did not simply fight to survive. They fought with a purpose, a clarity of vision that combined defense, strategy, and moral resolve. And as alien communications began to record phrases of shock and confusion, humans advanced further, systematically dismantling supply lines, cutting off reinforcements, and exploiting the arrogance that had once seemed their advantage. In a single decisive campaign, the humans turned the tables on the entire Orion alliance. Fleets that had once laughed at Earth were now retreating. Shattered and demoralized, human soldiers and pilots became legends in alien reports, their courage and brilliance impossible to ignore. By the time the surviving council members gathered to reassess the threat of humanity, it was too late. The humans had proven themselves apex predators in a galaxy that had only expected prey. The message was clear and echoed across systems. Never again underestimate humanity, for in the span of a few cycles, the species that had been dismissed, mocked, and endangered had risen with the full force of intellect, creativity, and indomitable spirit. And the day the aliens realized humans were the apex species, the galaxy itself shuddered at what it had ignored for too long. The aftermath of the Orion Expanse campaign reverberated across human-controlled space. As word of the stunning victory spread, humanity began consolidating its forces, not out of fear but out of calculated understanding that the galaxy had shifted. Alien species who had once dismissed humans now scrambled to assess the new balance of power. Diplomats and military advisors in distant empires held emergency meetings, discussing strategies to contain or negotiate with a species that had proven capable of turning the tide against fleets that dwarfed anything Earth could have imagined a decade prior. Meanwhile, on Earth, scientists and engineers continued to push technological boundaries, integrating advanced energy manipulation, artificial intelligence, and quantum computation into every facet of human industry and military preparedness. Research stations on Mars, orbital platforms, and hidden outposts throughout the solar system became nodes in an interlinked network that allowed humanity to coordinate actions with unprecedented efficiency. Each discovery, from adaptive shield technology to faster-than-light communication relays, was tested under controlled conditions, simulated against alien tactics gleaned from intelligence gathered during previous engagements. Humans were methodical in their preparation, understanding that the galaxy would not forget the sting of defeat, and that arrogance had to be met with precision and foresight. Alien reconnaissance probes were intercepted and studied, revealing the deep cultural and tactical patterns of each civilization. Humans use this knowledge to predict supply routes, likely reinforcements, and possible ambushes, while alien forces, still reeling from the losses in Orion, began to question their assumptions about humanity's capacity for rapid innovation and adaptation. The psychological impact on alien commanders was profound. Uncertainty replaced confidence. Every move was now shadowed by the fear that humans could anticipate and counter it. Back on Earth, military strategists debated long-term objectives, balancing the desire for security with the ethical imperatives that had guided human society for centuries. The Council of Defense, composed of veteran officers, scientists, and diplomats, emphasized flexibility, redundancy, and unpredictability, crafting plans that allowed humans to strike decisively while minimizing risks. Human pilots continued rigorous training, simulation stretching their endurance and tactical thinking, emphasizing creativity under pressure, improvisation, and exploiting weaknesses in enemy formations. On remote colonies, engineers constructed experimental vessels and weaponry, often testing multiple prototypes simultaneously, each iteration learning from the previous engagement. The integration of AI co-pilots, adaptive shielding, and stealth systems made human fleets more formidable. Aliens who observed these developments could not comprehend how a species with such limited perceived resources could achieve such rapid advancement. Tensions escalated as small frontier encounters demonstrated humans' tactical brilliance, where seemingly minor skirmishes turned into devastating defeats for alien raiding parties. Reports of human ingenuity and unexpected countermeasures spread like wildfire among alien networks, fear and respect mingling in a way that altered diplomatic dynamics permanently. Some alien leaders sought negotiations, hoping to secure alliances before humans became too dominant. But humans approached every engagement with measured caution, understanding that galactic politics demanded both strength and subtlety. As humans expanded their influence into disputed regions, they encountered not only hostility, but also opportunities to showcase their strategic superiority. Every success reinforced their reputation. Every clever maneuver and victory cemented the realization across the galaxy that Earth had produced not merely survivors, but a species capable of rewriting the rules of interstellar warfare. As the first hints of coordinated alien counter-strategies emerged, human analysts anticipated their moves, preparing contingencies that allowed humanity to maintain momentum. The galaxy's perception of humanity shifted irrevocably, from weak and dismissible to dangerous and dominant. Whispers of human capability traveled faster than fleets, and by the time a formal alien council was convened to address the growing threat, humans had already achieved the kind of strategic depth that no alien empire could have predicted. The groundwork was laid not for revenge, but for the enduring understanding that the species they had underestimated was a true apex, capable of survival, adaptation, and triumph against odds that once seemed insurmountable. And the lesson was clear in every encounter, in every negotiation, and on every battlefield. Humanity could not be underestimated, dismissed, or controlled. For the very essence of their nature, curiosity, courage, ingenuity, and relentless resolve made them the masters of their fate and formidable adversaries to the galaxy at large. As humanity's presence expanded deeper into contested regions of the galaxy, alien species began to encounter the full spectrum of human ingenuity, from planetary defenses that seemed modest, yet were nearly impenetrable, due to clever energy dispersal fields and adaptive drones, to small strike teams that executed surgical operations with precision that confounded even the most experienced alien tacticians. On the edges of known space, humans established observation outposts disguised as simple research stations, gathering intelligence on enemy fleet movements, supply chains, and communication protocols. This knowledge allowed human commanders to plan multi-layered operations that leveraged speed, unpredictability, and superior coordination. When alien fleets attempted raids on resource-rich systems, they were met with ambushes that left their forces decimated. Humans did not merely rely on firepower, but exploited terrain, gravitational anomalies, and even psychological tactics, using misinformation and feints to lure enemy forces into traps. The aliens, whose technology often surpassed human designs in raw power, were repeatedly outmaneuvered, each engagement reinforcing the growing legend of human cunning and resilience. On Earth, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to integrate alien technology captured during skirmishes, reverse engineering weapon systems, propulsion, and energy sources to enhance human fleets. Simultaneously, military academies and simulation centers trained thousands of officers and pilots, emphasizing flexibility, decision-making under pressure, and adaptive thinking. While humans understood the value of discipline and hierarchy, they also recognized that creativity and initiative were equally essential for survival against alien adversaries. Back in alien capitals, councils convened in crisis, struggling to comprehend the human phenomenon. Emissaries who had once dismissed Earth were now charged with calculating the risk of continued aggression, reports of human victories, audacious tactics, and unprecedented problem-solving spread rapidly, undermining confidence among alien populations. Whispers of caution turned into urgent debates about whether humanity should be contained, allied with, or destroyed. Yet even the most radical factions found themselves hesitant, aware that humans had demonstrated capacity to adapt to any circumstance, exploit any weakness, and execute plans with a speed and precision that made conventional responses almost futile. In the midst of these strategic developments, human intelligence agencies uncovered alien attempts at coordinated sabotage and espionage, and responded preemptively, neutralizing threats before they could materialize, while simultaneously feeding false information that led alien commanders to misallocate resources and expose critical vulnerabilities. The psychological impact on alien leadership was profound. Commanders began second-guessing orders, fearing traps where none existed. Underestimating humans proved costly. Yet even those who attempted diplomacy found themselves negotiating with a species that now demanded parity, respect, and recognition. While humans continued to expand into disputed sectors, their engineers developed self-repairing ships, autonomous drones capable of adaptive combat, and weapon systems that could respond in real time to enemy strategies. Every new innovation compounded human advantages. Alien generals watched helplessly as their best-laid plans crumbled. The notion of overwhelming superiority no longer applied when faced with human unpredictability, cunning, and relentless drive. On frontier worlds, stories circulated of human operatives disabling entire orbital defense grids with teams no larger than a dozen individuals, sabotaging supply chains, and escaping without loss. Tales that once seemed impossible became routine, instilling fear and respect in equal measure. Humans demonstrated a capacity for learning from failure that alien species had long considered a weakness. Every defeat was analyzed, every tactic improved, every innovation tested and integrated. The galaxy began to recognize a simple truth. Humans were not only survivors but innovators, not only fighters but strategists. And while alien empires had counted on technological superiority and numbers, humans had turned adaptability, creativity, and determination into weapons far deadlier than any fleet or superweapon. By the time major alien coalitions attempted to launch coordinated campaigns against human strongholds, they were met with strategies that anticipated their every move, countered every advance, and exploited every overreach. The apex predator label was no longer metaphorical. It was undeniable. Humanity had demonstrated time and again that the combination of intellect, resilience, and audacity made them forces of nature in a galaxy that had forgotten what it meant to truly survive. And the day the aliens finally grasped this reality, fear, respect, and awe rippled across the stars, marking a turning point in galactic history, where humans no longer existed on the margins, but at the center of power, their potential limitless, their dominance inevitable, and their enemies painfully aware that underestimating humanity would never again be an option. Humanity's rise to undisputed prominence in the galaxy did not happen overnight. It was a culmination of decades of preparation and experimentation, and a relentless pursuit of excellence across every field of human endeavor. As humans expanded into contested sectors, they established outposts that served multiple purposes, from scientific research to military observation. Each station was designed to maximize efficiency, sustainability, and adaptability. Humans integrated artificial intelligence, autonomous systems, and advanced sensor networks to monitor alien movements while simultaneously refining defensive and offensive capabilities. Fleet commanders coordinated strikes across light years with precision that confounded alien analysts. Humans anticipated enemy reactions, creating scenarios that seemed impossible to counter yet were rendered routine by their strategic planning. Alien species, still recovering from the shock of Orion and the frontier skirmishes, attempted to form alliances, pooling resources, technology, and intelligence in hopes of overwhelming Earth's defenses. Yet humans, having studied patterns of alien cooperation and conflict for years, were always several steps ahead. Anticipating betrayals, misunderstandings, and weaknesses, they exploited rivalries among alien factions, sometimes manipulating diplomatic negotiations to sow distrust and confusion, while human pilots conducted simulated engagements against each new fleet design, constantly innovating tactics, testing new maneuvers, and refining coordination. Engineers developed ships capable of adaptive stealth, weapons that recalibrated in real time, and energy shields that could dissipate even concentrated enemy fire. When the first truly massive confrontation erupted in the Galactic expanse, alien commanders believed their overwhelming numbers would crush human forces. Yet what they encountered was a coordinated human fleet, smaller in size but faster, smarter, and unflinchingly decisive. Humans used feints, diversionary attacks, and multi-pronged strikes to fracture alien formations, exploiting every mistake and hesitation. As battle raged across light years, alien communications became frantic, their confidence eroding with every unexpected maneuver. Supply lines were severed, reinforcements trapped, and entire divisions incapacitated by attacks that seemed impossible for such a supposedly primitive species. The aliens had underestimated human creativity, adaptability, and the willingness to accept risk when it served a larger strategic goal on Earth and in forward command centers. Human leaders coordinated these operations with surgical precision, their decisions informed by real-time data, predictive models, and the instinct of commanders who have been trained to think several moves ahead. Civilians contributed in their own way, operating logistics networks, repairing ships, producing weapons, and running simulations to refine tactics. The integration of society into the war effort gave humans a cohesion that alien militaries, fractured by politics and overconfidence, could not match. When the tide of battle finally turned in humanity's favor, alien fleets that had once boasted dominance were retreating in chaos, their leadership fractured by disbelief and panic. Human forces pursued only as necessary, never overextending, demonstrating a level of discipline and strategic foresight that ensured continued advantage. Without unnecessary risk, across the galaxy, reports of human ingenuity, resilience, and tactical brilliance spread rapidly, altering the perception of every species that had once ignored Earth. The apex predator label was no longer metaphorical. It became a practical reality as humans consolidated territory, neutralized threats, and established dominance without provoking unnecessary destruction. And as the first alien leaders began to approach humans not as conquerors, but as equals, negotiators, and reluctant allies, the lesson was painfully clear. Humanity's rise was not the result of chance or brute force. It was a product of careful planning, relentless innovation, adaptive thinking, and an indomitable spirit, qualities that no alien empire could match. And the day the galaxy truly acknowledged humanity as the apex species, fear was replaced by respect, caution by admiration, and the once dismissed species from a small blue planet now held a strategic, technological, and psychological advantage over civilizations that had long considered themselves untouchable, signaling a new era in which humans would shape the fate of stars not through domination alone, but through intelligence, creativity, and the unyielding drive to survive, adapt, and prevail. As humanity's influence spread across the galaxy, the alien civilizations that had once laughed at Earth now approached every interaction with caution. Intelligence operatives, spies, and emissaries reported back tales of human fleets executing impossible maneuvers, engineers developing technology that seemed to anticipate enemy tactics, and strategists creating contingency plans for contingencies the aliens did not even know existed, on planets previously considered lost or uninhabitable. Humans established fortified research in military complexes, combining defensive and offensive capabilities in ways that made them nearly impregnable. These complexes were interconnected via encrypted communication networks and rapid response shuttle systems, allowing humans to project force across vast distances almost instantaneously. While alien diplomats scrambled to understand how a species with limited numbers and resources could operate with such efficiency and cohesion, humans refined psychological warfare techniques, exploiting enemy arrogance, creating illusions of overwhelming numbers, and staging maneuvers that forced alien commanders to commit to futile or self-destructive strategies. Intelligence gathered from previous battles allowed human commanders to anticipate alien reinforcements, supply drops, and ambushes, turn what the aliens thought was an advantage into a liability. In the void of space, battles raged with human forces consistently outmaneuvering alien fleets. Their smaller numbers are relevant as tactical superiority, adaptability, and innovative technology allowed them to dismantle superior forces piece by piece. Every encounter reinforced the growing legend of humanity's cunning, and alien propaganda networks, once confident in portraying humans as inferior, struggled to reconcile with repeated defeats on the home front. Humanity's scientists developed autonomous ships capable of learning and adapting mid-combat, AI-driven weapon systems that countered alien energy weapons and cloaking technology that rendered entire strike forces invisible until they struck with precision. These innovations were matched by the discipline, creativity, and daring of human pilots and soldiers, who combined instinct with training to exploit weaknesses no alien system could anticipate, as more alien coalitions attempted coordinated offensives. Humans demonstrated the ability to fight simultaneously on multiple fronts, orchestrating planetary defenses, fleet engagements, and sabotage operations with near-perfect timing. In every encounter, humans adapted rapidly to new weapons, countermeasures, and unexpected tactics, often using what the alien considered advantages against them. Alien morale crumbled as stories of human ingenuity, bravery, and ruthlessness spread through fleets, councils, and civilian populations. Some alien leaders began advocating for peace, negotiations, and alliances to avoid further devastation. Yet humanity, having learned the cost of underestimation, approached every interaction with caution, ensuring that respect and parity were maintained while demonstrating their undeniable superiority. Even in diplomacy, humans were strategic, leveraging their victories to secure resources, influence, and technological knowledge, all while reinforcing perception of the apex predator. In the midst of these campaigns, frontier colonies that had once feared alien reprisal now flourished, humans integrating local environments with technology to create sustainable, defensible, and self-sufficient outposts. These colonies became training grounds for the next generation of leaders, pilots, and engineers, ensuring that human dominance was maintained not by a single generation, but by an enduring culture of innovation, resilience, and strategic foresight. Across the galaxy, alien species adjusted their maps, alliances, and expectations, recognizing that humans were no longer a minor threat, but a force capable of shaping the balance of power. And as humanity continued to expand, innovate, and outthink their opponents at every turn, the day when aliens first realized humans were the apex species became a turning point not only in galactic warfare, but in the understanding that the species from the small blue planet possessed qualities, intelligence, adaptability, courage, and relentless determination that no empire could suppress, no fleet could overcome, and no strategy could entirely predict, marking the rise of a new era in which humanity, underestimated for so long, now commanded respect, caution, and awe throughout the stars. The human expansion into contested space continued with relentless precision. Every new world, asteroid belt, and orbital station brought under careful observation, and, when necessary, fortified with advanced technology designed to withstand assaults from fleets many times their size. Human engineers developed energy arrays capable of projecting shields across entire planetary systems, drones, and automated defense platforms that could operate independently while maintaining coordinated strikes, and rapid deployment vessels that allowed humans to respond to threats across light years with efficiency that alien species struggled to comprehend. Intelligence gathered from prior skirmishes allowed humans to predict alien tactics, anticipate reinforcements, and exploit weaknesses that had been ignored for centuries. In every engagement, humans combined courage with calculation, improvisation with discipline, creating a battlefield environment in which the aliens could never feel secure. While alien admirals attempted to coordinate multi-system offensives, human forces used feints, ambushes, and misinformation to fragment their command structures, sowing confusion and hesitation at critical moments. The psychological impact was profound. Alien troops and officers began doubting their own plans, fearing that each movement could be countered before it was even executed. Within human control systems, command centers operated with a seamless integration of AI analytics, human judgment, and interlinked communication networks, allowing leaders to coordinate operations that span light years and involved thousands of ships, planetary defenses, and autonomous units. On the frontier, human colonies became hubs of innovation and tactical experimentation, testing new weapons, ships, and strategies in controlled scenarios that mirror potential alien maneuvers. This preparation allowed humans to remain several steps ahead of even the most technologically advanced civilizations. As alien leaders debated new strategies, humans continued to push the boundaries of science and warfare, developing cloaking systems that masked entire fleets, adaptive weaponry that altered output to counter enemy shields, and self-repairing vessels that could recover from damage that would have destroyed conventional ships. Humans also leveraged diplomacy with careful calculation, securing neutral systems, forging temporary alliances, and using negotiations to buy time or create strategic openings. While alien civilizations were still processing the magnitude of their defeats, humans established a network of early warning satellites, orbital defense arrays, and rapid response fleets that made any surprise attack nearly impossible. The apex predator status of humanity was no longer theoretical. Every encounter, every engagement, every negotiation demonstrated the species' ability to dominate, adapt, and outthink any opponent. Stories of human ingenuity and daring spread throughout the galaxy, undermining alien confidence, inspiring fear, and forcing recalibration of long-held doctrines. Even the most aggressive alien empires found themselves constrained, their expansion halted, their assumptions challenged, and their forces systematically outmaneuvered by humans who had mastered the art of interstellar strategy. Human commanders leveraged history, psychology, and technology to create an environment where every move was anticipated, every weakness exploited, and every opportunity maximized. As humans advanced, they did so not recklessly but with foresight, balancing aggression with prudence, ensuring that every victory reinforced their dominance while minimizing unnecessary loss. Across star systems, the realization spread like wildfire. Humans were apex predators, a species that combined intellect, creativity, adaptability, and relentless resolve to achieve outcomes no one else could. And when the major alien alliances finally recognized the full extent of human capability, they faced the undeniable truth that the small blue planet they had once dismissed as insignificant now commanded fleets, strategies, and technologies that made them the central power in the galaxy, a species whose rise had been quiet, calculated, and unstoppable, and whose influence would shape interstellar affairs for generations to come, proving that underestimating humanity was a mistake no civilization could afford to repeat. With the galaxy fully aware of humanity's unparalleled capabilities, the final phase of human ascendancy unfolded as every engagement, every strategic maneuver, and every technological innovation converged to cement their status as apex species. Humans did not merely fight for territory or dominance, but for the establishment of a new order in which their ingenuity, resilience, and adaptability defined the balance of power. Alien civilizations, still reeling from decades of underestimation, scrambled to respond. Yet every attempt to counter human tactics was anticipated and neutralized. The lessons learned from previous battles, combined with rapid innovation and the integration of captured alien technology, gave humans the ability to strike with precision and efficiency that left their enemies demoralized and fragmented. Across contested systems, human fleets and orbital defenses operated in perfect harmony, small strike teams executing missions that disrupted supply lines, sabotaged warships, and neutralized key command centers while larger formations engaged and diverted enemy forces. Simultaneously, human scientists continue to push boundaries, creating adaptive weapons capable of learning from alien tactics, energy shields that could disperse even the most concentrated attacks, and autonomous units that acted with both speed and judgment, ensuring that no surprise could destabilize their operations. In diplomatic spheres, humans leverage their victories to negotiate terms favorable to Earth and human control systems, establishing alliances, trade agreements, and spheres of influence that solidify their position without unnecessary conflict. Alien leaders, once arrogant and dismissive, now approach human negotiators with respect and caution, aware that any misstep could invite devastating retaliation. Even the most advanced empires were forced to reconsider doctrines, restructure fleets, and rethink interstellar strategy in light of the human example. Within human control regions, colonies flourished as centers of science, innovation, and training, producing generations of commanders, engineers, and strategists prepared to maintain and expand humanity's dominance. Every individual contribution, from civilian engineers to frontline pilots, reinforced the collective strength of the species. The combined effect of relentless innovation, tactical brilliance, and unyielding determination created a system in which humanity could respond to threats anywhere in the galaxy with unmatched speed and efficiency. Alien civilizations observed a mixture of fear, awe, and grudging admiration as humans demonstrated an unprecedented ability to adapt to any challenge, counter any assault, and turn disadvantage into advantage. The stories of human victories became legend, studied in alien academies as cautionary tales of what happens when a species is underestimated. The apex predator status of humanity was now universally acknowledged, not merely in military terms, but in cultural, technological, and strategic influence. And as humans continue to expand, innovate, and integrate new discoveries into their societal and military frameworks, the galaxy settled into a new reality, one where Earth and humanity were no longer peripheral players, but central architects of interstellar affairs, commanding respect, fear, and admiration across all known space. The day the aliens realized humans were the apex species marked not only the end of their dismissive assumptions, but the beginning of an era in which humanity's ingenuity, resilience, and unbreakable spirit would shape the destiny of countless worlds, ensuring that for generations to come, no species would dare underestimate the humans from the small blue planet, whose quiet determination had transformed them into the masters of the galaxy.